Hi guys, it's Scott.
Hey guys, it's Liz.
From King and Queen Cichlids, and we are here today to talk about aquascaping for tank busters. So, if you guys have fish out there that are circling around in your tanks looking depressed, if they're jumping out of your tanks and falling on the floor like they're trying to escape prison like Shawshank Redemption, if you guys are calling a clay pot a home for your fish, then you guys need to sit down, hit the subscribe button, and listen to what we're about to talk about, because one of my biggest pet peeves is having these great big beautiful American cichlid tank busters sitting in these bare bottom tanks with absolutely no decoration. No wonder people aren't liking these fish. My God, there's nothing around them in their environment to make them really perk up, show their color, show their attitude. Now, I know there are reasons for some bare bottom tanks. Some of them would be what?
Showing fish. It's always good to take the ornaments, any sticks, anything that could poke or cut up a fish before you're getting ready for a show, about a month or two ahead of time. Or, you know, if you're breeding or it's a hospital tank, you might want to keep them down to a minimum.
I think you hit all three of them. Hospital tank, for sure, you don't want to have any decoration in there. You want a bare bottom tank with a sponge filter and just the medication that you're dosing it with. Breeding tank, we actually have some breeder tanks that have aquascape, and I think it actually helps get the fish in the mood. We do,
but we don't do it as aquascaped as we would normally.
Absolutely right, but I would say the nurseries that we put them in are not aquascape.
No.
They are bare with the sponge filter, because all we want to do is really feed them and give them some nutrition. And then obviously, because we're big showfish people, we go all over the place trying to show fish. I understand when people have bare bottom tanks and a sponge filter because they're trying to get their cichlid in tip-top shape and ready to show, so I'm definitely down for that. But any other reason, I really think that people should start aquascaping their tanks to the nines. And that's one of the things when people come to our fish room, they're always impressed with, oh my God, these fish are beautiful, they look like they're in their natural environment. You can see the tank behind me that I just did this weekend. Liz actually took some video footage of me setting it up. Doesn't show everything, but it kind of shows the start and then where we finished at. This tank's absolutely beautiful. We picked it up, what, 5 or 6 days ago? And we actually picked it up from a guy who made it. And it's a really cool tank. It's a little longer than 6 foot long, a little shorter than most of your aquariums you're going to find, but it's wider. It would have been a great plant tank.
Would have been.
But unfortunately, I needed it because my 180 is shut down at this point. But as soon as it gets up, we're going to try to get Liz this tank.
Yeah, we'll see.
See that Jaguar just going by looking absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, so we're talking about how to aquascape tanks today. That's what our video is going to be. I know people's attention span can be short, so we're going to try to run through this really quick. I don't think it's that hard to do.
No.
I hope I'm not offending those people who keep their big fish in a big bare tank with a couple of pots. Hey, to each their own. I'm just saying, when I come into a fish room, I want to see some aquascape.
Yeah.
Rusty Wessel does it, Mo Devlin does it, a lot of other people do it, Juan Miguel certainly does it. Why shouldn't we? Okay? So, first step, and what you'll see in the video, is me setting up the tank. It's bare, obviously, and we're going to talk about substrates. Now, I'm also going to talk about cheap ways of doing stuff. Substrate, a lot of different things you can do. We like to use...
We use pool filter sand. We just go to the local pool store. Some people go to the hardware store and get blasting sand, which is a little more than the pool filter sand, but it depends on what you're looking for. We like the natural beige look versus the blasting of the black sand look, which is very striking in planted tanks. But
absolutely. So yes, I like sand.
Yeah.
Okay, just like she said, and we use pool filter sand. You get it from Leslie's
Pool Supply on Route 30 in York.
In York, PA. So if you're a local, you just heard where we get our stuff from. It's absolutely phenomenal. I think you said
about $13 for a 50-pound bag.
50-pound bag. This I said this tank's a little over 6 foot long. We use 2 bags, so it's about 100 pounds of sand in this tank alone. It's beautiful color. It looks natural to me. So that's what we use. I know a lot of people use different stuff. I know there's a black sand that Dwayne Walker and them use. Some other people use that. That's really cool looking as well. Do not, under any circumstance, use playground sand. I've seen people try to do that.
You have to rinse it for days,
and it's
still
still
get it worth it. It's not worth the money.
It's
really
not worth
isn't.
the money. It looks like mud. It is terrible.
Yep.
Please save yourself some time and money. Do not use that. But other things that you can use, and I'm telling you from someone who wants to, my stuff looks pretty extraordinary, but it's cheap. It's done cheap. You wouldn't believe it. I go to Lowe's, guys. You can go to Lowe's. You can find what's called river pebble stone for gravel. I mean, gravel, they're charging at some stores, and nothing against stores. Hey, we love you guys. You support us. But there are alternatives. You can go to Lowe's. You can get...
And they're more natural looking, where most of the pet stores sell your purples, your pinks.
Yeah.
And there's nothing natural about it.
Yeah. You can go to Lowe's and you can pick up what's called river pebbles.
You also got that black lava rock.
Yes,
really
that was cool too. Very small of the river pebbles. Looks just like gravel. You can get a big 50-pound bag for, I think it was $5.99.
Yeah,
Only deal with that is that you're going to have to wash it really good. It's not going to be like the gravel you get from the pet store that's going to be basically clean. You have to rinse it a little bit. This stuff
it's
you're
for
getting.
landscaping, so when it comes in the bag, it's got some sand, some dirt in there, so you just want to rinse it.
Yeah, so those are some alternatives. We also go to like the local garden shop. They have some gravel, different gravels that are really cool, that are extremely cheap, extremely affordable. So again, pool filter sand is what we normally use. That's probably what's in 80% of our tanks. We do have some of the river pebble as well that we use. I just think they all look nice. I'm really into the sand now. So step one, we fill this up with 100 pounds of sand. Next thing we did was I started to do some dry scape with Driftwood.
Yep.
I am a huge Driftwood person. I love it. I think it makes the tank look natural, looks like they're home, looks like the Amazons or the rainforest. It's really cool. Can you pick up some of that right there?
So a lot of this driftwood we actually picked up from friends here and there. I know this piece came from Wayne Smith.
Yes.
A couple years ago, he would go down to the beach and just pick up off the beach and bring them back up.
Can I jump on what you just said? Wayne Smith, buddy of ours. This is why it's so important to join your local clubs if you have them. This stuff, probably at that fish place or somewhere else, you're talking about $50 here.
Oh, if you're getting it that cheap.
Yeah. Stuff, if you're part of a club, you're going to meet people who are selling driftwood, giving away driftwood for extremely cheap prices. We are proud members of the Cichlid Club of York, the American Lancaster Society, as well as Capital Cichlids, and probably Bucks County. We're members of several local clubs, and you're always going to pick up great deals. You're always going to find stuff at amazing prices. So that's one reason. Wayne Smith kind of does this for a living. I think he's got a guy he kind of works with, and he sells this. A lot of times he's already has it anchored into slate, so it will sink. You don't have to worry about that. It's already clean. It's already boiled. There's not going to be a lot of leaching coming out. Although you're into...
I like the tannins, I like the leaching. I will go from time to time down to the creek and pick up some stuff and try it out.
Not in my tank.
Not in his tank, but in my tank. I have done that. This piece back here I actually picked up, oh goodness, 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, and it still doesn't float. But
it still doesn't float, but it doesn't leach anymore, so Scott's stolen it for his tank.
Yes. The other thing we want to say is, again, you can get driftwood from the local pet stores. Some of these pieces we actually got from our buddy Rachel O'Leary. Again, if you are local, Rachel O'Leary lives in Mount Joy area.
And she gets in Manzanita driftwood about once a year.
A huge amount of it.
Manzanita driftwood, if you're not familiar with it, is just gorgeous. It's not like your typical driftwood. It's just really, really pretty, decorative, almost branchy pieces.
Yeah, sometimes she calls it spiderwood or something like that. It's really
spiderwood's
cool.
different.
Is it?
It is a different wood.
Okay, okay. So you know about it better than I do. But these are like some of the cool pieces that we're going to be setting up in our next tank. Probably the 180 whenever it's sealed. Should be sealed today, as a matter of fact. We're going to try it out. But let's see what other pieces we got. We got this one, really
and
cool.
Just got
I mean, can't you just imagine the fish in this area just hanging out like a root from the tree? You know, some of these just really cool. I think this one we actually got from Rachel at some point. Really cool piece. And again, just awesome. This is so much better than pots, guys. It's going to look awesome. The fish are going to love it. They're going to hide. Anyway, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but back to the video. You will see me actually putting some of these pieces in this tank. And again, I think it looks fantastic. So I will do the driftwood first because I'm concerned about it floating up. If you know, sometimes if it hasn't been in water for a while, it will take time for it to sink.
And you do a lot of nice things like rocks and the big stones.
I was going to go to next. I then do rocks after I do all the hardscape with the driftwood. As she said, I take the rock and I kind of anchor it down, but it doesn't look like the rock is holding it down, but I've covered up some of the roots where the rock is holding it down to make it look much more natural. Rocks, again, we'll talk about Rachel O'Leary. She gets in crates of rocks and sells them at
all different sizes. I think she just had some of that, was it called?
Don't ask me.
Dragon rock or something like that. I think she just had in that was really cool.
Yeah, so again, I wanted to shout out to Rachel first because that's our buddy. She gets lots of different types of rocks. She is a huge, I should say this first, Aquascape professional. I mean, grand champion. Her and Jennifer Williams have won awards all over the United States in competition. She is, hey, one of my heroes. Gives me a lot. She's an influence of mine, and I certainly look at what she does. Although I can't recreate it here with the big cichlids I have, some of the hardscape that she does, I do try to recreate that in my tanks. So this is just a piece of rock that we found. I'm sure I got it at one of the clubs, or Lonnie got it from Lonnie at some point. I think this is called sandstone. You know, we got slate, all these different types of rocks that we can use, and I actually used a lot of different rock in this tank. We'll give you a closer shot of the tank. Rocks, driftwood, sand, that would probably be enough just to really show off your cichlids, give them a lot of different places for them to hide. But I like to do one last thing. I didn't do it in this tank yet. I might. Right now I'm pretty pleased with it. But obviously with the tanks that we're keeping, and hopefully some of you guys watching keep big American cichlids as well, I like to use silk plants. I mean, when they're underwater, you can't tell.
No, we've had people come in here asking about how we keep our plants alive with the big cichlids.
Look at that. It looks real, doesn't it?
You know, we'll go to the local hobby stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, AC Moore, and pick up plants. And they're on sale all the time, 40% off, 50% off.
Buy one, get one free. Yeah. I mean, something like this was like $3 or $4. Yeah. And I always get questioned about, are you concerned about the metal wire that's inside of these? Well, some of these don't have metal wires, some of them do, but this, you want to make sure that you're getting ones that have the plastic or the rubber that totally encases all of the plant, all of the wires. I've used these for upwards of 8 or 9 years, never had an issue with any problems with my fish.
Yeah, you definitely want to avoid the wires that are wrapped in like a cloth or almost a string. Your fish will destroy that in a second.
Not only that, the water will make it come apart very quickly.
It's very dangerous for your fish.
But these in particular work really well. They will fool most beginner aquarium people. Someone like a Rachel O'Leary or a Ted Coletti are going to know right off the bat, hey, that's fake. Yep. But the silk ones are fantastic. They don't have that glossy look, and they move just like real plants in the water. It is fantastic. So again, you can list most of the shops.
Right.
Hobby Lobby is the one we go to a lot in Hanover. Always have stuff on sale. Fantastic plants. They have vines that look really real with little leaves. I mean, I've had a lot of people say, where'd you get those plants from? They look really real. So
I know you have one huge piece of driftwood in one of the tanks, Wi-Fi actually, that you've taken and wrapped the vines around. It is so wild looking.
Great point. We will probably show you a little shot of that as well, because people always stop and go, is that real?
Yeah, and it's really
cool. The way the plant is wrapped around, it looks like it's actually attached to that wood. So, all right, guys, so we talked about the substrate. We used in this particular tank, pool filter sand, 100 pounds of it. Driftwood, we talked about that, where you can get it, get into your local clubs. You will definitely benefit from getting, join in with your clubs. We did some rocks. One of the things that Lonnie used to always tell me is he never paid for a rock in his life. He would pick them from outside. He'd go to rock quarries. He'd go wherever.
Well, you'd be surprised even too how many free rocks you can find on Craigslist. I've gone with empty buckets and picked up tons of rocks out of people's gardens that they were just rescaping.
That's a great idea. I will, side note, say, just to make sure the rocks are safe, take some vinegar, put it on, just put a drop on. If you see the rock acid up a little bit, it's probably, or fizz up, it's not a good rock for you. It could change your pH, it could dissolve and do some harm to your fish. But if you drop it on and it doesn't do anything, it's safe for your fish tanks. All right, so rocks, sand, rocks, driftwood, and synthetic plants. That's all you need, guys, to take your fish tanks to the next level. Make your fish feel at home. Stop these fish from jumping out of tanks and committing suicide, guys. Give them something to enjoy.
And as we're sitting here, I'm actually watching our Midas pair try to rip apart one of the tanks, and it's so funny. Like, they think they're going to eat it. It almost is entertainment. Gives them something to do.
It's true. It really is. So we're going to do a little shot of our tanks that are aquascaped. I hope you guys will be inspired by it. Get back home, take them clay pots out, and put some plants, some stones, some driftwood, whatever you can in your tanks, and decorate it. Make your fish pop. You know, I'm so tired, and I love reef tanks. I really do. I think they're beautiful. But you know what? So is nicely aquascaped fish tanks with some big cichlids in them. It's beautiful. All right, guys. So those are our steps to aquascaping for big fish. I actually did an article about that in Cichlid Chronicles a few months ago. I got a lot of great feedback from it. Check it out. I will leave a post where you can see it. And again, as always, enjoy the hobby and keep your hands wet. This is Scott.
This is Liz.
You guys take care. Subscribe to us. Check us out. Our website, www.kingandqueencichlids.com.
Yep.
You've updated it with a lot of information.
Yep. And share with us your aquascape tanks. We'd love to see what you're doing and what products you're using, any different ways to save money. We'd love to hear back from you. Sounds
like a contest, maybe. That's a great idea. All right, guys, keep posted. We love you. See you real soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.